Hello everyone. So let me just see actually if this is working because it's our very first time. Actually, it's my first time on the LinkedIn Live. So let's just see how this. Yeah, it looks like
Is
we
there
are live.
is there a link where I can join from for that LinkedIn Live?
Yeah, I mean there is the one that we published, that I published, but it says here starting soon.
There is some sort of desynchronization between LinkedIn Live and the actual
Okay,
the
we are
actual
live.
speaking time.
We are
Oh yeah,
live.
there we go. Nice.
Wait, 1 second. Okay.
There you go.
So I need to mute myself because otherwise we can hear ourselves. But I cannot hear you now. No, wait.
Because I
No, I
was not
can.
talking.
Yeah, okay. Because you're moving your mouth. Anyway, guys, hello. Yeah. Welcome to the LinkedIn Live. Unfortunately, just me and Evgenii, which doesn't mean it's going to be less fun. But Mislav couldn't join in the end for some personal reasons. Hopefully, we can have him some other time. But today is just two of us. If you don't know Evgenii, he is a co-founder of Tilipman Digital. He's Webflow business for many years. True professional, I can say like that.
Yeah, the business exists for many years, like one.
Yeah, but your experience with the websites and everything. So yeah, so the idea with this is, I kind of just approached to Evgenii. So let's just have like a live where we can talk about migrating to Webflow. I don't want to turn this into like trying to persuade people why they should go to Webflow. More like what they should do once
Yeah,
they decide.
that's actually my job. I'm going to persuade them.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we can do a bit of that too, I guess. And the idea was to talk about it, discuss like a relaxed environment. And of course, if anyone has any questions, because it's AMA, you guys can ask questions, we can answer. It's not a problem, but we're going to talk. And then in the meantime, I mean, this is live, so many things can happen unexpectedly, like me trying to fix this camera now. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Hey, Andre. Yeah, it's a bit of we have a slight delay, so you guys know if you ask anything, you're not gonna see it right away, or maybe we're not. You're not gonna see it and hear us. Okay, so let's start with this, and we'll see how it goes. I wanted to split this in like a couple of sessions. I didn't really prepare much. But I want to talk about the process, the technical stuff, maybe some design stuff as well. Business outcomes that might happen or anything business related once you migrate. Maybe even a bit about trends or myths, all this kind of stuff. So we'll try to cover as much as possible. And like I said, again, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. It shouldn't be monologue or dialogue. I mean, it should be a dialogue, but in Britain as well. Anyway, so to get started, I want to start with the migration strategy. Let us talk first. When is the right time to migrate? What do you think?
When is not the right time to migrate is a better question.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to pinpoint the one specific time, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there are many benefits that are coming from migration, but sometimes it also, WordPress makes a lot more sense than Webflow. However, one of the biggest selling points of WordPress before was just the sheer volume of plugins and apps that the ecosystem has. And that was like the main selling point. But then MCP dropped. And now you can technically connect absolutely anything with Webflow. And you don't really have to be that technical to do it. So you can wipe code anything, create an app, connect it to MCP, and that edge that WordPress really did have, it's gone. I mean, the GTM go to market is faster with Webflow. It doesn't require as much engineering effort in order to maintain the site. It doesn't matter how big the site is, it just depends how it was built. So there now more than ever, I feel like there are ton of reasons to migrate to Webflow, and it just depends on the business side. like how big the business side is, how big the business website is, pardon me,
I think there is
and the goals.
yeah. I mean, interesting thing is that the popularity of WordPress didn't drop. I mean, it's still very popular as far as I see. But I think also we should make a difference between like small to medium sized businesses and large businesses, because when you have a large business, like a multiple team members needing like an enterprise level of security, team management, all this kind of stuff, I don't know. I mean, I guess it all depends on the company policy where you're going to go, because all platforms, even the custom code, then in that case, I don't think it doesn't matter if you're gonna pay. I mean, how much you pay, because you need all the time someone to back you up with development.
You know, back when I was in Veza Digital, my colleague and I, Dusan Nedeljkovic, had a discussion,
Yeah,
and the discussion went something like this. Hey man, do you know how expensive it is to rent a store in the city center that people are going to walk through? And we calculated it on a lot. Then we calculated the cost of a website, and now we understand that they're more or less the same. Just that there is a lot more upside that you can have with websites, depending on the business, of course, and the business type. Like brick and mortar businesses like shops surely are going to see more sales because they're higher quality leads, but it's just the business type. Like
yeah.
it can be a lot. It can be at the end of the day, it's going to cost you maybe the same whether you're like custom coding the website or paying for Webflow hosting or like
When we talk about the cost, you know that I heard many times like, oh, Webflow is too expensive, but I don't think really that's true, because I mean, what it actually what it means, does it means it's too expensive? I mean, yes, if you see like other hosting like platforms, they are very cheap, but then depending on where you host your website, depending on how much you can do by yourself. So if you need from time to time to hire someone to do some updates, then that is also included in a way in the cost of website maintenance. And Webflow, when you set up everything properly, many things you can do by yourself without relying on developers. So when we speak about cost, in all, I think it's all kind of same, but I would say maybe Webflow is even cheaper than many others. What do you think?
you know, I started doing this for the reason that it gave me instant gratification. Like you move a pixel and you immediately see it. And I feel like this is the perception. People look at things at face value. Like they see the cost being X dollars and they are like, damn, that's X dollars compared to this platform's Y dollars. Y dollars seems more attractive.
Yeah.
We are actually like operating the business with clients and with employees for I think literally a year. It was maybe 10 days over a year, like a year and 10 days. In this period of time, we have gotten so we had a workspace, we have a site plan, and now we have gotten like two more workspaces. At the end of the day, it's like 1,600 euros a year, right? For all of this, about give or take. But during this year, we have launched a lot of content. We have launched a lot of pages. Like we now have more than 100 pages on site. And those pages are bringing us actual revenue. And those are bringing us tens of thousands of dollars in revenue per lead or per actually closed lead. So the payoff actually makes a lot of sense if you ask me.
Yeah, give me 1 second, just trying to write to
Please
people
go ahead.
here. Yeah, sorry guys, but yeah, like I said, it's live. Yeah, whatever you guys have any questions, please, let's just make this as a mutual discussion, even if we are here and you're writing, but yeah, it should be a place where we can talk about pretty much anything regarding migration, not just anything. Yeah, I mean, let's start from the beginning. For example, how would you guys scope a migration? Well, what do you do first in order to tell someone that should migrate. Like it's the time to migrate. I'll let you answer first, then I can address it as well.
We're waiting for an answer from the community, right?
No, actually, I was asking you.
When is it the time to migrate? The time to migrate is at the point where I want to say just before you are fed up with the blockers. So, for example, you see a blocker and you think to yourself, this, if this is happening now, it's going to happen a lot in the future as well. Is this annoying enough for me to remove this blocker? And it's just about, I think, the hidden costs. Like, is it annoying enough? Is it going to be a business hindrance or not? And if you see that the pros outweigh the cons for migrating, that's exactly when you want to migrate. From, let's say, some of the businesses that we had to migrate to, number one, a business wanted to expand the business model and bring in a couple more revenue streams. In WordPress, it would take a lot more time to build out the infrastructure, and it was a lot harder with the builder he was using to build out like custom design pages. We migrated.
Yeah.
Another business, uh, another bit, it was a performance thing. You can always optimize performance no matter the builder, but how much you can optimize the performance of a site, it really depends on the capabilities of the development team. Usually, my guess is if you are looking to migrate for performance reasons, your current vendor is not capable of optimizing the performance well enough. Sometimes performance is not even a blocker, but people say it is because like everything above 70 points in Google, in page speed insights is kind of good because if you think about it, in like first world countries have great internet. Like even if it's a bit laggy, like 70 is going to give you quick load anyways. If it's below that, sure, that's questionable. But then again, it's
I
it's
think
whatever.
those performance issues, I mean, there are many reasons why they are happening, but in most cases is because there are so many people updating the content and they're starting to change a lot of stuff by themselves. Many of them, I had many cases when clients just wanted to go in and do the adjustments by themselves, which you can, but then everything becomes very messy. You just upload images that are very heavy. You don't know, you don't care about compression and all this kind of stuff. So that affects performance quite a lot. But from my experience, why people usually migrate to or choose to migrate is when it comes time for them to redesign the website, to change it.
It's a
Usually
great
after,
timing.
yeah,
It's
I
great
mean,
timing, really.
usually after like a couple of years of having the same design, or if they are not happy with the current agency, freelancer, whoever they're working with. Yeah, actually those are like the most common cases. And when that happens, when I, for example, tell them, many of them are on WordPress really, and when I tell them about Webflow, they are not against it. And the main reason why they want to proceed with Webflow is because it's easier to manage for them. It's much easier. In the beginning, I did use, when I was trying to find the right platform for us, I didn't know about Webflow. That was, I think, 2018. And
Okay.
I tried first with WordPress, and I didn't like it at all. It was very difficult for me to first find my way around, and then whatever I want to do, I need a plugin for that. It's very frustrating. And when you come to Webflow, you can do all of that stuff directly on the platform.
Right. I mean,
So
WordPress ecosystem also changed a lot, right? There
yeah.
were there were always lots of builders on top of WordPress. Now there's also a lot, like there's Oxygen, there's Elementor, there's a bunch of stuff that you can use. I know that after talking to Julian from MemberStack, now they recently built MemberStack for WordPress. He said
Mhm.
he's been working with Bricks Builder. He said that it's absolutely the same as if he was working with Webflow. So that's actually a very funny
Copy paste.
perspective. Copy paste, but if you think about it, like all these trends of which builder is the best, I think that's like the wrong way to look at things, or that's at least it is a perspective, but I feel like the right perspective should be, how can my problem be solved in the best way? And sometimes if you're in one platform and you have everything like SEO set up, maybe the best thing to do would be just keep the plugins, keep everything, just like change the builder to something that's visual enough and convenient enough for you to actually get the business outcomes that you were looking for.
You know what? Sorry, just wanted to add this one thing is that what many people actually respected about Webflow is because whenever something happens, you reach out to Webflow support. When you're on WordPress, depending what happens, that depends on who you're going to reach out to. And what the outcome is going to be depends on their support, which it can
Of
be very
course,
messy and frustrating, like quite a lot. So that
of
is like a,
course.
yeah, that is something, you know.
And knowing that there are a lot of, let's say, non-tech people in let's say in IT these days, like since like no code or low code or whatever, you've got to understand that people aren't really going to look for the right arguments in Reddit or some forums that are usually the best sources of information. Support is a big one. Webflow, I think at one point for non-enterprise, Webflow was faster to respond. I think there's like one day until they respond, something like that these days. Before if I'm not mistaken, it was faster, but it doesn't matter.
Bigger community.
It's still like one day to respond to one of million clients or millions and millions clients. That's a damn big deal.
Yeah.
That's like great SLA if you ask me. If there is like one support manager for every like 300 clients and they still manage to like respond in 24 hours, like
And I
job well
think
done.
I think they even have like a phone support for US citizens only. I'm not sure for I think I saw that somewhere, which is amazing. I mean, obviously they cannot support the whole world like that. It would require like army of people working in tech support, but still, even if it's just for US, still it's amazing.
For sure.
Um, yeah. Um, how, for example, when you guys decided to start a project, what is your process? I mean, how do you go?
Well, first we sell.
Well, after
But
that is
no,
closed.
jokes aside, even before we sell, I've always had the problem with agencies that were selling and they did not really know what they were selling. So if
Yeah.
they scope a project for, let's say, $50,000, but to actually deliver the project, you need at least $60,000. Brother, you're in deep problems. So I guess after the discovery call, a big one is scoping. Like in discovery, you figure out what they need. Then in the time in between discovery and scoping call, you actually go ahead and do some sort of draft where you scope out like the pages, the CMSs, everything. Once you have the appropriate, let's say, spreadsheet with with all the items. So here are the static pages. Here are our CMSs. Here is the volume of CMS pages. And here are the things that could be CMS but are not right now. At that point, you kind of start going into the architecture of the whole project. And I feel like it's the most important, especially for the big projects, because let's say just migrating like CMS could take weeks if you're doing it manually. If you can import things to CSV, you're saving yourself a lot of time. Now, WordPress is usually generating a lot of fields in their CMS. So there's also some sort of CMS cleanup. So the first thing we do is we take a look at the CMS and at the whole sitemap. We take a look at what can be static, what can be component based, what can be CMS. We get the clients to export the CMS to us, and then we just, we go into SEO meta in one click that actually gives us an idea of current SEO setup. We propose a couple of solutions. We're just like make notes for ourselves, what can be improved, and then just start redeveloping. Take care of the desktop then we just go into responsive. Clearly, I feel like the biggest blocker for us at this point is visual assets, because more often than not, you've got to download those one by one. That's not free, and usually that's going to disrupt the quality, and that's not even dependent on how big the asset is. So if it's compressed, if it's not compressed, there are of course softwares that can do this in bulk, but we also found that not too much.
It was, you remember Adobe XD? I mean, did you use it at any point? Because I was. And Adobe XD had like a pretty good feature, which means that you just, I don't know, I really don't know if Figma have that. I'm using Figma so long, but I don't know. Where you just click on each object, let's say in Adobe XD, and whenever you're ready to, or your designer can do that as he works. And whenever the project is completed, ready for development, you can just one click download all the assets that are selected, like the icons, photos, all this kind of stuff, which is pretty amazing, yeah. But I don't know if that Figma has. We have one question, but I would want to just answer to this by myself as well, about the process quickly at least, and then we can get to the question. I mean, I noticed that you guys focus more on development than on design, while in our case is vice versa. You're more focused on design than development, which I mean, you should focus equally on both, but it depends. That also depends on the complexity of the website, right?
That's a very politically correct answer.
Yeah, but really, because in our process, we first try to figure out through the UX design what is going on. I mean, first of all, of course, we inspect the website to see how many pages it has, how complex it is, what they want. But once we decide on that and the project is closed, then we start with the UX, trying to figure out actually what kind of goals they're trying to achieve. What is the reason of their redesign or having a website at all? And then we create ideal client profiles like personas, because we don't, I mean, I know that people are very emotionally connected to their websites, but you're not creating that for them. You're creating it for their users, which why we create personas. And then from those personas, we create like a user journey map, site map, and eventually the wireframe and the visual design of the website. And we'd like to include clients and all the stakeholders actually in the process from day one, so they know what is going on, and we don't get back one step forward, two steps back all the time, because they already know what's happening. And by the end of design is completed, it's not always 100% sure you're not going to go back, but at least is 90%. And then after that, we continue with development. We have this content migration. Also, SEO is included from the day one, because depends on how you're going to organize your URLs and everything. Very roughly is something like that. We try to have a process where everything is pretty fast, like 3 to 4 weeks, but you cannot do that for every project, obviously. If a project is complex and super large, you cannot do it, but most cases you can.
But I also got a question for you. Do you ever get migrations where it's just migration as is to the explicit understanding of the word of migration?
What do you mean?
Like you're talking about the whole process of, hey, here's a client, they want to migrate, but they also want to redesign. So but they're both different, right?
Yeah.
So the migration just in generally means taking the actual website that is right like this in one platform, taking it from there
And just
and
transferring it.
inserting into, yes, exactly. Do you have those kinds of projects?
Yeah, I mean, for those kind of projects, really appreciate if clients, for example, have design file so that we can adjust it, because sometimes you need to adjust something, because if it's done very poorly, it's very messy. You need to make sure that all the margins and paddings are same. They're having all the certain way of using fonts, typography in general, colors, all these kind of assets. We do that, but we always try to propose redesign, because many times companies always evolve. It's not like you do something and you never need to change it. In a couple of years, even if you do the same work, it will change. the business, like it will evolve. And at that point, in a few years, you would need to make a redesign. So that's why we always try to include it in the process. But yes, sometimes it happens that they need only, just like you said, taking it from one platform and just putting it in another.
X command V.
Yeah, yeah, not that easy, but yeah. Okay, so we have one question. So Walter Rossa asked, he said, when a client comes to me and asks for a website and I tell them how much they need to pay monthly or annually for Webflow, I often see some resistance. That's because many of them already have some information about WordPress prices, for example. How do you deal with these issues?
Can we
Well,
do some role play?
okay.
Do, do
Who
you
gonna
want to
be
be the
who?
do you want to be the client?
Okay, I can be the client, but I'm not quite sure what he meant exactly. Is it like the prices of the platform or his own
I
prices?
feel like that is the case.
Platform prices? Okay. Okay. Hi, Evgeny. I heard you guys work with Webflow. I find you on ChatGPT searching for best Webflow agency in the region, and
I hope everyone heard that.
I wanna migrate. Actually, should I go with okay? Like we're in migration process. Okay, I want to migrate to a different platform because I'm not satisfied with the current one. What do you guys recommend?
I mean, every agency is going to recommend based on what they're proficient with. We have had great success with migrating our clients to Webflow, and that's specific to WordPress, where your website is right now. They have seen XY results over N period.
Mhm.
So my understanding is that you have some pain points, which is the reason why you want to migrate. Now, could you maybe walk me through those? And I want to figure out, first of all, if this specific platform is fitting your needs from the sense of does it cover the issues that you're facing or not?
Okay, so I don't know really much about website development. I just know that my website is very old. I wanted to refresh it a little bit. And if you guys recommend some platform that you're comfortable working with, I'm fine with that. As long as I don't pay too much for the platform because I don't want to overpay.
Okay, so your concern now is the budget for the hosting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's create some sort of perspective. Now, when you say that you don't want to pay for the platform's hosting, does that mean that you're thinking of that price relative to the price of hosting of other platforms? Or do you mean like relative to your night out, or what are we comparing the
Well,
expensive to?
I want to keep it at least similar to what I'm currently paying for.
Okay, and what are you currently paying for?
How much the hostings cost, but let's say like I pay like $100 a year or $50 a year.
Okay, so you're paying $50 a year. With Webflow, you would pay probably 3 or 4 or 5 times as much. Now, what you would not be paying for is engineering. Once you migrate your website to Webflow, you will be able to take care of all the updates yourself, and those updates are going to go out a lot faster than they would if you were migrating to any other platform.
Okay, but on the current, I am currently having a website. I think it's a WordPress where it's hosted. Well, the previous contractors set everything up so that I can still manage to update a lot of stuff. I'm not an expert, but I know how to use it. So why? I mean, if the same thing can be achieved on both platforms, it still sounds like more expensive, you know.
Is it cheaper for you to spend a couple of hours to update something or to spend like 10 minutes?
Of course, 10 minutes, yeah.
And if you scale that over a year, what does that mean to you? It of course depends on your marketing website, right? If you're looking to grow your SEO efforts, if you're looking to get more visibility on Google, if you want to actually use your website to bring in more revenue. I feel like that's an option. But if your business model does not need you to make more revenue through your website, like marketing qualified leads, maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, you said that you want to migrate. Maybe there's a reason, maybe there's not. You just said that it's pretty old. And usually when people say it's pretty old, it means it's usually janky. And I'm not putting words into your mouth, but just talking from experience. It may be janky, it may be a bit problematic to manage. Tell me a bit about that. Like, what's the concern? Why even what's the underlying problem here?
Well, I don't have a lot of money to pay for, development, redevelopment, redesign, redevelopment, especially not for paying like hundreds of thousands of, not thousands, but hundreds of dollars a year for a website. I need website only to be like a business card for my business.
Well, in that case, a good chance is that you do not need Webflow, and the best thing you can do is probably stick with WordPress.
Okay. Is there someone else you can recommend me to?
Of course, here's a list of Fiverr experts that have had hundreds of orders done throughout a single week. I feel like you're gonna enjoy working with them. But yeah, I would seriously love to know how that turns out. Just like I would want to keep in touch and figure out whether or not you have had the successful migration, or if you decided to stick with your platform. If you decided to stick with your platform, I would just want to maybe touch base in around a month and a half, and just have a chat and see how that's going for you. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Evgeny. You're very professional. Okay, cut. Yeah, I think, yeah, good job. I think it's good because a lot of people, I mean, if they just don't want to push you down for money, you should just, I always redirect them to just buy a template and do it with a template, because really, if you just need a website for something quick, for some presentation or as a business card, whatever, just buy a template to do it yourself. I mean, it's that easy, right?
I feel like once again, you and I have some sort of slight miscommunication, because
Okay.
for me, migration is just take it and put it there. And for you, it's the whole thing with the redesign. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, if you have hundreds of dollars for a website and you want and you want a freaking redesign, I'm out of here. I'm not even gonna talk to you. It's not worth my
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, from my point of view, always try to include as much as I can, so that website has a meaning in the end. I don't want to just transfer it, because I don't think that's going to solve anything to them. I mean, it's going to save them time, frustration. Like we said, the Webflow support is pretty good. So that is that. But business wise, I mean, actually, that also affect business a little bit.
There's a thing called technical debt. So here I don't think I agree with you. Like, design is not the only business value in migrations. There's actually a lot of value to take a clean slate and develop a website properly, just from a development standpoint. Doesn't matter about, like, if we take everything else as is, there's actually plenty of value in just development.
Yeah.
Like,
Um,
if you take a look at larger websites, like page speed, loading time, even let's say a couple hundred milliseconds, like even
mhm.
100 or 50 milliseconds, it can mean a lot for a company's revenue, depending on the website size.
Why? Because you think that
Bounce rates.
they will bounce out? Well, I mean, I would wait for like a second or two, but not more than that probably. But of course, like
Yeah,
you said, if that combines from all sides, can be.
yeah.
I mean, I
That, and
agree. Yeah.
then SEO side, there are technical blockers as well. Like, there are a lot of SEOs who have been taught in the same way that they have been taught in 2018,
Yeah.
that are talking about, let's say, that are talking about technical blockers as if they are the reason why you're not getting traffic. And usually that's strong, but technical blockers can block you from reaching the potential of your traffic, for example. And
Okay.
if you're talking about the website as just like numbers, whereas you get this number of visitors, this number converts, so that you get this much revenue, like you just want to increase the traffic number, and then over time you just want to play with this number as well, and then eventually you get an increased revenue. But all of these things are
I
I don't
mean,
want to say very
a lot
important on
of,
their own,
yeah.
but as a combination of things, they back up.
Yeah, I mean, in the end of the day, everything depends on the website, on the specific company, business model, everything. So that really affects of what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it. Right? That's from my experience. But when we talk about SEO, I mean, from your experience, I know that once you migrate, you always have a drop. Did you had any bad experiences with that drop, and or like a traffic loss or something like that?
I haven't, but I had close colleagues who had, and those were disastrous. For example, our niche is very specific. Like B2B is brutal for the reason that it's usually some sort of software. And if that company is not getting traffic, even for a week, they are losing a lot of revenue. I have had companies that have had their whole website de-indexed as a migration effort, and it's a horrible job done. And it's big for revenue. Like revenue drops, you're liable. You can be liable legally as well. Those things are not a joke. But personally, I want to say we do job right, but we just do our best. Our employees are usually curious,
Hmm.
and if they don't understand something, they either ask or try to figure out. And if there is something that they cannot figure out, they don't touch it, and then just like leave it for later, so like the whole team can take a look. Maybe someone will get some info, but yeah, small technical issues can lead to big problems. That's in terms of SEO.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is when if you just, I mean, you need to be very careful with URLs, because those URLs, especially with the keywords that are used on those pages, are already ranking. So if you change them, that's obviously going to affect the SEO. If you just improve everything, of course, it's just going to be better. So that's why, for example, from our experience, we always try to keep the URLs the same as much as we can. If you need really to change something, if they completely change service or something, that's fine. You can always redirect it, which is not great if that page is ranking very well, but from our experience, it's just you try to keep existing URLs as much as you can, especially with the keywords used there.
For
Nowadays,
sure.
there is this a new trend with LLM. So I want to talk a bit about that, because from our side, we're really experimenting with a lot of crazy stuff. And I've seen that, especially on Reddit, a lot of people are experimenting with a lot of stuff. I don't have exact results yet, still in the process. But do you have anything to add for that?
I mean, I don't really know what I'm adding to. If there's like a specific question here, sure,
What
but
is
we are also experimenting with this,
Yeah,
if
I
that's.
mean, do you have any technique that worked in term of ranking better on using AI chat like GPT, Perplexity, and stuff like that? If someone asks
Yes.
something, so that you can position.
I mean, we have our, let's say, shared content, and it's been amazing because it is increasing our brand awareness. Like we get now around 600 something traffic a month. There's some percentage of those people who want an AI summary. And the way that AI summary works is that it saves our brand into their, let's say, GPT, into their LLM, doesn't matter. And now later on, if they ask a query and we have answered that query in our website, this is going to be the first result. That means more clicks to the site. That means we are top of mind. And I'm seeing that since we added that feature, and we have added it, I don't know, like a month and a half ago, we had like 80 to 90%, maybe even more
Okay.
increase of just say, GPT first touch points with a website.
Nice, nice. That's
And
great.
I'm expecting that not most of those are not, let's say, first time visitors. I am guessing that those are return visitors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is no way to check that.
Yeah, there's no way to check this at this point in time, but
You
it's
know
it's a
what
fun
I
experiment.
Yeah, what I noticed, because I'm also trying to find as much as I can about that. We are trying a couple of different things. And one of the things that I recently discovered is how you're going to position, and when you're going to position depends on, of course, what kind of prompt you're typing in. And I noticed that, I'm not going to name them, but some of the biggest agencies in our industry are always ranking among the top, doesn't matter what you ask for. I mean, if it's Webflow included. And I asked ChatGPT, okay, so why is like that? I mean, why we are not positioned in the top five in every aspect? And ChatGPT said, like, it's because it's not only what you have on your website, but it's also backlinks, digital PR.
Yeah,
I mean, you
yeah.
need to be mentioned on many places all the time, because it takes the information from various places. It's not just one place.
Yeah, backlinking is also a very difficult topic because there are things like toxic backlinks, there is
Yeah,
like traffic source, and you can get like really high quality backlinks, but the traffic source is India or Bangladesh or Pakistan where your ICP is not located.
yeah.
And those are backlinks that are not going to do anything for you. But let's say high quality, high domain rating, very relevant to your niche backlinks with traffic sources where your ICP is, you're going to pay at least $100 per backlink from my experience. And if you don't know where to look for those and you actually hire an agency is going to 3x on the price per backlink, like 250 to 300.
And also takes time. It's not
It
something they're
takes
gonna
time.
get instant.
At one point, when I was actually doing a lot of research on the backlinking, I asked GPT, so hey, why are we actually not ranking for best Webflow agency? And first of all, it said, well, you don't have that article and you're not promoting yourself as the best Webflow agency.
Yes, that is also.
Too salesy, too sleazy for me. But then the second thing, it was telling me
Yeah,
the exact same things as you. And I thought for myself, you poor bastard, you don't have the money for all those backlinks.
it's not only backlinks. For example, what we're ranking among top five on ChatGPT is when you ask the fast turnaround Webflow agency. We are on the top five because, well, obviously we highlighted speed, but we wanna also orient around this monthly subscriptions. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that I heard from one case so far that digital PR was bringing way more leads than SEO, well, than the backlinks.
You do know that there is also type, it's not called SEO, but it's something that has to do with Reddit and all the other forums. And
Mm.
it's just like that, where it's just mentioning your brand and
That's why we started to do
inserting
Reddit.
links. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
But Reddit is very hard. It's a very toxic place. So, guys, if you're not a Reddit and you want to go there, just be prepared.
Man, I had a couple funny stories. There was a person who asked me why I'm re-aliving a dead thread that died like 2 years ago just to enter my backlink. And then I just answered him because I can. It was an amazing conversation.
Yeah, I mean, but I think there is also a lot of people that asking good questions, giving good suggestions, ideas. But yes, I mean, like we already all of us know, it's not one thing that you should do in order to achieve, let's say, greatness in this industry. You need to do a lot of things all the time. And it just takes time, consistency, persistence, all of this stuff that no one likes. But it is how it is. That's at least from my experience.
I mean, try to release 2 pieces of content for over a year. I mean, two
Uh,
pieces like a week
a week.
or 3 pieces a week for over a year. It's
Whoa.
tough as nails, man. It's
Yeah.
tough as nails.
Well, we're working on a lot of stuff actually right now because, like I told you last time, I mean, for us, content marketing works pretty well, and we just want to double down on that one. But for the LLM specifically, I can say like a few things that we are already working on. So one thing is that you just take a certain prompt and or maybe like a unique long tail keyword, type it down in just type that down on ChatGPT, for example, and do click on the deep research. And then always ChatGPT asks you like a follow-up questions. Find answers to that questions and add them to your website, because that's what it doesn't mean. Maybe it's gonna ask always the same questions, but questions of that kind of sort, it's something that it's gonna ask when this prompt is included. And that's what there's one thing that we did on the services pages. Then there is a LLM page, a special page dedicated for AI, so that AI can learn about you, like all this important stuff, like what you do, where you're located, what are your services, uh, like a lot of stuff. I don't really remember all of that right now.
Funny, but I cannot still find you as best Webflow agencies in Serbia.
No,
The
there is,
funniest
yeah,
thing,
it's
funniest thing
for
is
no, but
like
fast and
seven.
around, yes.
But funniest thing is 7 out of 10 of best Webflow agencies in Serbia are not even Webflow agencies.
Really?
I mean, it's interesting. I don't think that there are. Maybe there are like 9 or 8 Webflow agencies in Serbia, but I would be surprised if there are like 10 or 12 or whatever.
I don't know. I mean, I know a few, but I don't know if this that the ones that I know are all the agencies that are in Buffalo only. Maybe there is some others.
We'll connect the dots later.
Yeah, I think I know. Okay, if I include you and me as two, um, I don't know if I am not gonna name them, but
Yeah, no need to do
for
marketing for them,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I know 10, to be honest.
right?
Yeah, yeah. But okay, Serbia is a small country, so I don't think we need more than 10 so for now. But it's growing. It doubled in the 2 years, I think. And we were the fourth agency in Serbia that got the Webflow partner certificate. I think we were fourth. Yeah, fourth. So
That's
which means,
nice.
yeah,
I
it means
never
there is more.
counted.
Yeah, because I saw the time when we got it. I just check on Webflow expert page, and there was only four. We were the fourth one at
That's
that
nice.
time. Yeah, but doesn't mean anything really.
You know, I should change our location to some country that doesn't have a single Webflow agency. Like
Mm,
maybe we can be the first Webflow certified Webflow agency in North Korea.
yeah, and imagine if there is already one there.
I would be surprised, man.
Yeah. Okay, let's. I mean, there's a lot of things we can talk about, but I want to touch base on ROI. So, like a business side of the migration a little bit. So, I don't know. There's a lot of things that can affect the ROI, but what do you
Especially if you
think?
include redesign into that migration,
Especially then.
especially when.
But what do you think of what affects the most the ROI during migration? I mean, what affects the most improvement of ROI? How you
Okay,
can
if
make?
you would say just in general ROI, I would definitely said SEO because there's so many agencies that do migration and then it just like it goes down, everything goes down, and then you have negative ROI
Yeah, yeah,
for a
yeah.
short
When you
period of time.
when you're okay, that's the one thing. What's the
Yeah,
second thing?
yeah.
I mean, you already
Um,
know my answer.
of course. I mean, the redesign brings in different type of CRO. Like if you're approaching things from user experience and from the CRO standpoint, then you're definitely just working like doesn't even matter whether it's a migration or not. Redesign as a whole, if you're a data-driven company that is actually asking for data from the clients, asking for some historic changes that they made, going through some sort of UX forms and figuring out like what are the benefit, like how do you improve conversion rate optimization, then it's a no-brainer. Like it literally you're just working like design is like doesn't really matter. The only thing that you're working at is improving the revenue that the client can get in a certain period of time. That's your sole job. Even with the redesign, with everything really, this is what you're working on in general.
You need to work on design as well in order to do that, right?
Of course, and that's what I mean. Every single action that you take is towards that goal of improving conversion rate. That's
Yeah.
the most immediate item how you can describe the ROI.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to add to this. I had one thought, then it just disappeared. Let me see. I hope it's gonna come back. But what I wanted to say about ROI, that yeah, I think it's coming back. Yeah, I think everything actually matters in that process. So you need to pay attention to the to the low bounce rate. You need to pay attention to the migration of the URLs. Then where you position your buttons from there. And then what you do next. I mean, I think that is like a never-ending process, because I don't think there is one thing you should do. Like just like the same thing that we said about the website positioning. There's not like you should do this and it's going to be great. Maybe it's going to be great at that time, but maybe in a couple of weeks or months it's not going to work anymore. I think it's just ongoing process.
But for example, if we take a step back, like we are talking about the steps towards the ROI, what's the actual return on investment? So we said
That
return on
the amount
investment
you
can
invest
be
into.
the return on that specific investment can be high, like better conversions means more profit in a specific period of time. Another one that I thought of is brand recognition. Or
Mhm.
if we are taking into the account some, I don't know, some redesign, of course, it's going to usually come with some sort of brand uplift. If that's the case, you're definitely increasing your brand recognizability. But even if you're just technically improving the website in a redevelopment, the SEO is going to improve, meaning you get more organic traffic, your brand is getting recognized more, and those are big ones. Now, brand recognition does not immediately mean more money, but man, I'm not sure if you've ever used Headspace or not.
No,
It's a meditation app. Just the way that they formed their brand, that like Headspace and Duolingo, these two
the
platforms,
Duolingo.
the way that they formed their brand, I will remember who they are and I will think of them as the first platforms for their niche
Yeah,
10 years down the
but
line, 20 years down the line,
but
50
that
years down the
that
line.
is like including a lot of stuff. You need good development, so nothing gonna break, everything gonna work perfectly. You're gonna have a good response rate. Then you need a good design so that everything not just looks pretty, but makes sense to the user. And you also need a good marketing. So I think everything as a whole is needed. That's why we always try to. I mean, I'm pushing toward that goal to include in our services marketing as well, because if you really want to provide a true ROI, you need to provide all of these three: marketing, design, and development. Everything needs to work perfectly, because you need to have a control over all of this in order to control the ROI. But if we are less speaking, you can always say that ROI is in return on investment. So, which means if they invest a certain amount of money to develop a website, and after some time they get some clients, that means the ROI is good. The return on their investment has already happened.
I mean, it depends if the clients are profitable or not.
Yeah. Oh,
Depends on the
yeah.
deal size.
Yeah.
Just business speaking, you just have to figure out what it is that the clients are looking for and why are they looking to migrate.
Yeah.
Like that's like the underlying problems. And for us, at least, it's more often than not, it was the operational thing.
Yeah.
There is a marketing team that is very not they're not tech savvy at all, and they need to like improve their GTM, and the cost of the current website is just that their GTM sucks. It's so long. Yeah, and they just need to They sometimes don't even care how much they invest because they're going to save up ton of money just with better maintenance.
But I think it also depends how you as an agency position, because to us a lot of clients are coming with a already desire to change design, probably because they've seen that we are working with design, so they are coming with that already. I think we very rarely have occasions where they just don't want to redesign, just want to migrate, while it's not that rare for you, for example. So I think that also depends how you market yourself, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we just take into account our agency and just speak like, let's say, back to the niche of Tilipman Digital,
Mm-hmm.
we have had a lot of content that is very technical. That's number one. Number two, I can say, for example, when we started this brand, there were a couple of blunders in the way that we designed and positioned, and the whole brand was in some way a blunder. So now, while we are taking care of improving that, we have already solidified the position of, let's say, technical partners, and we can actually connect the strategic thinking to the technical side. And there are not a lot of people who I know that are in the development space that were very good at explaining to clients some sort of values, why they should do why they should do X over Y.
Yeah,
In not just the tactical standpoint, but strategic. Like tactical is how to do something, and the immediate value, and strategic is like couple
long
layers
term.
above that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. I guess there is that one as well. Okay, let's talk a bit about the future of this, of Webflow and everything, especially the AI. I mean, the AI is nowadays, and since it started, it's become a very hot topic. What do you think? What is the future of Webflow? I mean, at least what we can expect from this year's conference, because they always announce like a lot of stuff.
We can definitely expect
Yeah, definitely.
enterprise features. This is where they have been working towards.
Mm.
I'm guessing they're working a lot on improving AI capabilities. I mean, with the MCP just opened so many doors, I would expect that a platform called Wiz is not that important anymore.
Hopefully.
So web apps are now a lot easier to make with Webflow just because you can vibe code them, host your code on any platform really, and like GitHub, and then just connect it to the MCP, and you're golden. It's a lot easier. Like you can now keep
But I don't
both
know
your
if
marketing website and your web app on the same domain. And before it was like 2 years ago, it was a big fault.
yeah,
It was a
yeah,
blunder
we,
to do
we
that.
yeah, we had a lot of issues before with that.
Now it's not such a bad idea.
Yeah, but I don't know, because a lot of people, I mean, clients will approach me uh, with some bigger website where they do have some kind of a platform. They really want to just keep it separate, just to have a marketing part of the website in Webflow and the platform to keep whatever they're keeping, and usually it's a React. So I don't have a backend developer in-house. It's usually just some
Wait,
people working
what
with
do you
me.
need backend developer for React websites?
No, no, no. I'm just saying, like, in case if they want to have, some the interactive, let's say, website on Webflow, where it includes creating user accounts, managing like a lot of different stuff. They just don't clients don't feel comfortable having that on Webflow. It's very difficult, for at least for me, to explain them that you can actually do that as well.
I mean, I can come on board and explain to them value of Xano.
I did use Xano. We used Xano and Based for one car rental website where they were able to book a vehicle, because it's rent a car. And it was done okay. But, when they want to update some stuff, I mean, they can still do that because Xano is also like a no code, but it's not as seamless as it is in Webflow.
I mean, that's what I said. When I came into Webflow, it was because of instant gratification. But that's the point of front end versus back end.
Mm.
Xano is for back end.
Yeah.
And you first, like, there is a lot of work that just goes into initial setup. But once everything is set up, is like the data flows seamlessly.
Yeah. 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 I mean, regarding the Webflow conf, I would really like to see a lot of AI features. Some of this stuff where we still, like we said in the beginning, we don't truly understand. It's still exploration area for that, but at least some kind of like a helpful guides. I know there is a lot of useful tools like a Webflow apps for SEO and stuff, but I think it would be maybe best if some kind of this stuff can be done, within the platform. Otherwise, I think we're gonna turn out like WordPress with a lot of plugins that are called apps, which I don't think Webflow gonna go that way. But I hope they will just include more SEO and AI tools natively. But let's see.
I don't really think it's bad to turn out like WordPress in that sense.
Yeah,
First of all, WordPress is very open source. It's open source.
yeah,
So
Webflow
you
is
can
not.
update everything whenever you want, whereas Webflow needs to approve your apps, and for you to make any type of app updates.
But that's good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's never gonna break. Like they
Yeah,
cannot just update the app and you're gonna be like, oh my God, what
yeah.
happens
And
now?
I never understood why people like developers, like these hardcore developers, let's sort of call, they're like always against Webflow because Webflow is not open source. But that's a good thing. I mean,
Yes and no. There are both strengths and weaknesses in the volume of people involved in the project. The strength is very obvious, more labor. Weakness is worse organization. Now, organization can be overcome with good planning, but then once again, the human brain can go just so many levels down the abstraction lane, whereas labor is fairly straightforward. So it's easy to create a mess. That's my point. It's
yeah,
very easy to create a mess.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point because everything needs to be checked by Webflow and approved. That means that if something is not good, it's not going to be approved. And again, you have their support. Whatever happens, you just go to them. You just don't go to various different people.
Right. Talking about AI features, have you seen Miyagi?
No. What is that?
There's this agency from Utah called Ampli. They have
Yeah, I
made
know them.
some sort of AI. It's like in Rivers, not Riverside, but in it's like an AI helper to do anything. It can style things. It can create schema and immediately plug them into your site. Improve accessibility with adding some attributes like area labels and creating scripts that are going to, depending on the component, like change those attributes. Like it's fairly powerful. Like the first time AI came in Webflow, people were excited, but it was very weak, and I feel like it was a bad idea for the release, especially with so many kids now.
But they were pressured.
Man, when they're about, you want to talk about pressure? Let's talk about when Webflow got busted the other week.
What? You mean? I mean, the other
It
month
went,
when
it
they
went, yeah,
when
yeah,
it
yeah. It
crashed?
went down. That's pressure. I would rather take the pressure from releasing as a mid product for the ecosystem that is very tech savvy compared to like having the whole platform break.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one because you know how, for example, Apple always late with some stuff, but they're late because they're testing it. And they don't want to push it if they're not sure of. So I think the Webflow should, yeah, I agree. It should done the same thing. But what was amazing during that crash is that all live websites were still live. They never crashed.
Well, AWS did not crash.
Yeah, 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 because
It's
of
the
that.
platform. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, for
actual.
hosting, yeah. And
So
now
I mean,
they're migrating to Cloudflare. So let's see how that's going.
yeah, I mean, it's also beneficial for the platform that they're migrating for the Cloudflare. But in my take, I'm not sure whether or not you are into games, but for example, Assassin's Creed as a as the last game. Was postponed 2 times. So I think it was like 2 or 3 or 4 months delay in the release of the game. And I cannot say that it's been a great success.
You're talking about postponing, but how about the Cyberpunk and GTA? They're postponing
Depends
it
on your
for
marketing. It
like
depends on your
so
rep
long.
and depends on your rep and your marketing. For example, Ubisoft had started having a lot of bad rep because of the previous games for
Mm.
Assassin's Creed. I guess there are a lot of people who are in Webflow that are unhappy with the platform now. But there are also a lot
It's
of people
always
like,
like that.
of course, but there are also a lot of people like us that are very happy because think about it, man. You don't have to. You should, but you don't have to write code to get a freaking beautiful website. Not even talking about GSEP. Like there's going to be a big problem now that people are getting into GSEP before they're getting into CSS, but
Yeah.
that's a different problem.
I mean,
But
you
just the
really need to
fact
learn
that
basics.
yeah, but just the fact that there is a possibility to do GSEP in a no-code environment.
That looks like using Adobe After Effects. I mean, I was really amazed with that stuff. And like you said, I mean, someone once asked me, I don't know if it was LinkedIn or somewhere else, like why you are talking about Webflow so much. Are they paying you? And I was like, no, but not directly, but they were paying me in a way because I'm using their platform to, create websites and I'm getting money that way. I mean, why I wouldn't talk about the platform that provides all of that possible for me? I mean, I don't really get it, but yeah.
I can think about a couple of reasons,
Okay.
but it's not like you're selling oil or gold, so those reasons are not very valid. If you're onto a really good thing, just don't talk about it. But if you are selling shovels, then
Yeah, but it's also marketing. You need to promote it. Is promote yourself that way as well.
best shovels in town.
Yeah, let's talk about a bit about the myth busting. So, like, what is the most common misconception you heard about Webflow?
Do you want to talk Webflow or do you want to go WordPress to Webflow?
We can go both. We can go one WordPress and one Webflow.
Okay. I guess the most common one is still we want to keep our website on WordPress because Webflow because of SEO concerns.
Yeah. That's the one.
I think I need some sort of nerd glasses before I
Yeah,
talk
you don't have
misconceptions.
Yoast plugin, so it's like you cannot do anything in Webflow
Yeah.
with the SEO. Or Webflow is too expensive, like we already mentioned one. Or Webflow is not good for SEO. I also heard about that one.
Or we should we heard wait, there is one more. We heard that all successful businesses are on Webflow. There's also that one.
I didn't heard about that one.
I heard the person wanted to switch a good thing he was having on WordPress to Webflow just because he heard a lot of big brands are on Webflow, which is true, but it's like
Can I create a poll on this live on LinkedIn? Because I would want to ask these people listening.
that's a good idea. What do you think, guys? What are the biggest myths for Webflow?
Yeah, I cannot create a poll here.
I
Yeah,
guess
that's too
another
bad.
one is you are I mean it's all SEO related, but I've heard a lot of you don't have control over you cannot add schemas, you cannot have control over how sitemaps are generated.
I didn't hear about that one, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's all wrong.
I think I'm having more technical conversations in general.
It looks like, I mean, I'm more like not even lately, not even design oriented, but more like a business oriented. I'm trying to see how website is positioned business wise for the people. I mean, how website can work for them the best way possible. And I give the technical stuff to my team to solve it. But I really need to know what I'm talking about. So that's not
Of
going to be
course.
like you said, like I said, okay, 50K is fine, but it's going to cost way more because we don't have maybe in-house backend developer.
That's why neither you nor I are selling any web apps at this point.
Oh, web apps, right? We're working on one. It's not a web app, a Webflow app, but it's a feature. We tried it before, like a ROI calculator, but didn't work that well. I mean, it worked, but it gave you unreal results. So we're trying to improve it, like creating a version 2 that's gonna make sense. But that's one still. It's not. It's more like a AI tool. So let's say which some of agencies have, and Webflow also have one, but they have like put your link to your website, and then they send you an email. I don't know if you saw it, and they send you an email of what you should do in order to improve your AI search results, something like that. But it's not good. I mean, sorry, Webflow, but I tried it, and it says that we don't have a lot of stuff that we already have. Or maybe it
No
was just for me.
AIO or GEO or LLMO. There are so many out
Everybody
of the
tried to
blue.
brand
There are
it.
so
Yeah,
many experts.
yeah.
But in general, how are you going to like? I was not sure whether or not to indulge myself in this question, but I really want to. How are you going to calculate the ROI on someone else's business?
It's not
Like
gonna
what
be. That's why it sucked before because
I'm thinking, how would you, what variables do you need to plug in? I mean, clearly, here's the profit.
well, I
Here's
mean,
the,
if I give you the idea, you're just gonna you're just gonna take my idea. Sorry, no, it's not gonna be like that. But I'll give you some.
let's talk about it later so that someone else doesn't steal your idea and it's
No,
only
I
me.
mean, doesn't matter really. What we were wanted to include is that first of all, I mean, we wanted to include a couple of aspects. First of all, the website speed, so the load or page load time. But for that, we didn't want to ask people directly. Instead, they can just copy paste the URL of their website, and we can do it, automatically. That is actually possible. So because, like you said, the speed also depends on the bounce rate, which eventually depends on the ROI. Then, oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Where is this? The other one? I mean, that is that one question. Then the current monthly traffic, how many qualified leads they have per month, what type of industry they are in. Actually, this is there any other question? I think
So
there was more.
are you like grabbing the conversion rate benchmarks per industry?
Yeah, that depends on the industry as well, because the industry standards really vary.
I know like in finance, the conversion rate standard is about 5% for, let's say, commercial intent visitors. That's how
Yeah,
often they convert. For
yeah,
crypto accounting, it's around 20 to 30%.
yeah. The same for SaaS, like B2B. And the idea was to not ask a lot of questions. I mean, to ask a few questions because otherwise it's going to be too frustrating to like have a huge list that you need to fill in. But we want to take as many information as possible, as much information as possible from the URL, and to ask a couple of more follow-up questions, and then to provide a page where it's going to show them of what is the current state, what is the industry standard, and what they should do in order to improve it. Like not exactly like in a less detail, but more like a broad generalization of what they should do first, for example, what is the most urgent thing in order to improve it. So that we can provide information in a form that they can do some of this stuff by themselves. But obviously, for some of this stuff, they really need true experts in the field in order to help them. Yeah,
Link to bro works below.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, that is it's more of like a marketing exercise than like a true result because you can never. I mean, even if they give you all the information, it's still. I think it's too complex to have exact results. But you can generalize at least. What do you think?
Yeah, I think in general that ROI calculators are they're very difficult to market properly because it's a thin line between someone telling that you have no clue what you're talking about and someone telling you, well, this is great, let's do it. It's a very thin line.
But also depends on what kind of questions you're asking. So depending on what you ask in the beginning, that I think can tell them how knowledgeable you
I
are.
mean, the outcome is the same, just predicting error ROI. So
Yeah.
I don't think it matters, but it's just like personal opinion. I honestly don't think it matters how many or what kind of questions you ask. You can be a finance expert, you can be like an analyst for ages in PwC or Big Four or any type of company.
Mm-hmm.
Besides cash flow and now like predictions, I don't really think that you can predict the ROI much. Like I think that it's a big financial formula over and
Uh,
understanding of your business compared to like a couple of questions. But
I
this
mean,
like once again.
that's why I said you cannot have exact results, but that's why we're trying to ask questions regarding the performance and asking for the URL so that we can take some of the information from there as much as we can, really. And then just to give like a generalization of at what stage the website is, but we really not just oh, it's a very bad shape, you should go to us to help you, but like really what kind of shape it is.
I can imagine someone plugging in their enterprise level website and you saying, this looks very bad.
Yeah, it's like you guys are
And
doing
then you
totally
see,
wrong. Who did this to you?
yeah, and then you just pretend to be Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. 1 billion.
Yeah. I mean, there is a formula that you can put like calculation. That's why it was bad before. That takes all these parameters and then creates how much you need to invest and how long in order to achieve better results, which was really not. It was far from reality. That's why we decided to just shut it down and try another one. But like I said, it's just something to show people that we are really trying to go into a direction of understanding how ROI works.
Or at least being as helpful as possible to the end client. That's at the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
what matters most, I feel like.
yeah. I mean, you should show them in a way that you really care about what you do. You're professional. You know what you're doing. So there is like a lot of ways you can show that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough endeavor and really good luck with
Thanks.
wrapping up. And let me know when that's done. I'd be happy to test
Check it
it
out.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, you guys on LinkedIn being pretty quiet. It must have been that we are very interesting to watch and listen. But it would be great if someone else can ask any other question as well. I mean, apart from Walter. But we'll see. I think there is like a 5 minutes delay only.
About right.
Yeah.
I don't even know what kind of delay there is, but to be honest, I don't even know who's attending or where I can see like the volume of people who are involved.
There's not a lot of people on live, but it doesn't really matter because we can also share this with people on LinkedIn. And I think I don't know if this is gonna stay on LinkedIn. I don't know how the live works, but I'm definitely gonna upload it on YouTube. So we can share all this valuable information to the people so that they can grasp it.
Yes.
But anyway, if you click on I think you received that in your LinkedIn messaging, the invitation for the event. If you click on that, it will open, and then you will be able to see it, how other people see it over there, if you
Yeah.
can find
I
it.
mean, I did. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's a fun conversation, at least for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
That said, are there potentially other questions that you have had prepared or like borderline
No,
topics within the migration side?
I mean that is pretty much it. I mean we can talk about this for a whole day, but I would maybe try to conclude this now unless someone else have any other question. We'll wait a couple of minutes. All in all, to wrap it up, what do you say? What do you have something to say for the end regarding this topic?
Of course, we do. Migration is going to result in you getting more money. That is why you should refer to the services of BroWorks or Tilipman Digital to migrate your website from WordPress
Yeah, that would be the
or any other
best
platform.
business decision you can make in your life.
Yeah.
We're turning
But
this
at the
into
end
a
of,
selling point,
I mean, every piece of content needs a CTA.
of course.
But jokes aside, one of the most important takeaways from this live event is, I would say, calculating your ROI and figuring like just being more self-aware of, and by self-aware I mean like business aware, figuring out what your weak side of your business are, and if those are pain points. If those are pain points, just create a plan on solving those pain points, and it may as well be a migration. And then refer to the CTA that I just gave you, and you'll be good.
You know what I always suggest to people? That's the thing that I wanted to tell you last time, but then I forgot. It's a SWOT analysis. You could apply SWOT analysis to pretty much anything, and if you're not sure of what do you need to do, what kind of platform you need to go with, do you really need a redesign or migration at all? Just do a SWOT analysis. With the SWOT analysis, you will make sure that and include as many people as possible, of course. And with that, you will, by the end of that, you will know what you need to do. Did you ever do
That's
this?
true. When I left my last agency, I feel like I was in a state of analysis paralysis. And when I got into member stack, it was the complete opposite, because the whole team is like they have saying simple first, powerful later.
Okay.
And I feel like this is a big deal for MVPs and for iteration, because it really does save you a lot from. Give me a second.
Okay. But you still have your, yeah.
Yeah. Xiaomi is the best vacuum cleaner because it always works on schedule, and it is also the worst vacuum cleaner because it always works on schedule.
I also have one, so I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
But back on track, biggest, yeah, it is like biggest simple first, powerful later is very important for people who are in perfectionist mind state. There are a lot of companies that show you Hooli.io or any other $1 million website, and they say, I want just like this with
Or
$5,000
I want
budget.
my website to be like an Apple website. That's my
Yeah,
inspiration.
yeah. So I would say always when talking to the clients, figure out what their problem is and focus on solving that problem. And if they give you feedback in terms of any other thing, it's not your problem because you did not set this KPI.
Yeah. To that, I have nothing else to say. I just,
You can say amen.
yeah, I'm into that. So, all in all, yeah, you guys should just be prepared at any moment of your life. You never know what's gonna hit you. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, if no one else have any questions, then we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks everyone for being with us. If someone was here from the beginning, you're the real hero.
Thank you. Thank you, good sir.
Yes, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And hopefully, thank you, Evgeny, for being part of this amazing topic and discussion. Hopefully, we're going to have many more in the future. And yeah, let me know anyway, guys, what you think. I think you will have this on LinkedIn even after I stop streaming, and I will upload on YouTube. I wanted to have to stream on YouTube as well, but I had some difficulties connecting to the channel. So anyway, I'm just gonna upload it later. And yeah, that's it. If you have guys any other questions, just hit me with a DM on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to answer.
You can also hit me up at Evgenii Tilipman in
Yes.
LinkedIn in the DMs.
Yes.
I'll be happy to talk technical and not so technical.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been fun. I want to thank everyone for participating and for engaging. It's been my pleasure, and thanks a lot for our wonderful host. We could not make this happen without him. And yeah,
Of
thanks a
course.
lot. And yeah, looking forward to talking more. And yeah, I guess that's all on my end.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Bye bye.